I want to address both of these two things. Jeffrey Platt, along with Caltrans and the railroad, will be coordinating an encampment cleanup in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if you've seen that there is, I'm going to say at least 12 tents over here along the white fence. I walk there every single morning, and it is absolutely disgusting. So I did contact Jeffrey Platt, and I contacted the police department, and they're going to be doing something about it. So don't worry, and I know there's an encampment in the very back over by Breckenridge. That's going to be taken care of. I know there's another one that's on the outside of the Sun Lakes wall. It's horrible out there. So I know Jeffrey is going to take care of all of that for us. So please don't worry, and yes, I am on top of it. And then the next one is elder abuse. I have gotten 3 calls from different people regarding elder abuse. And I don't know what to tell you other than if you know that there is elder abuse going on, call 911. There's not a whole lot that I can do. However, I can get you in the right direction. You can also call APS, which is Adult Protective Services. They are 24 hours a day, and I'm going to give you their number. And this is also going to be in Lifestyles. I wrote a whole article on it. It's 1-800-497-7123. This is out for you in TV land. And you may also call CARE. That is Curtailing Abuse Related to the Elderly, and that's Cynthia Mendez. She's the one that came out here and did a presentation for us. And her number is 760-600-6064. So I just want to reiterate, you know what, I know that everybody thinks that I know everything about everything here, and I do, but I really stress, if you know that there's an emergency, you need to call 911, and I think Mike Romero, when he comes up here, he'll also be talking about that too. But I just really want to stress, if you know that something's going on, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's somebody, a friend, or somebody else, please call 911. The police will respond immediately, and they will direct you in the right direction, okay? So the next person I'm going to have come up is Mike Romero, and he's our Director of Securitas.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you for having me. Today, I want to talk about protecting ourselves, the community, from unwelcome visitors. No, I'm not talking about our in-laws or grandkids, but thieves. We have seen an uptick in issues here in the community, and it is happening, folks, realistically. As we all know, crime tends to rise around this time of year, with criminals taking advantage of unlocked doors, poorly lit areas, and packages left out like open invitations. To better protect your home, consider simple yet effective steps like installing motion sensor lights, securing your entry points, and using security cameras. All those are very inexpensive things that you can buy offline on Amazon, and they're relatively easy to install, or you can contact a handyman that can get all that wiring and lighting done for you. But those are really great deterrents that I feel are very effective for those homes that do have them. Lock your sliding doors and your windows if you're planning to leave the community for doesn't matter how long of a time, whether it be for vacation or just for the day. We've increased patrols in high traffic and delivery zones and are coordinating with delivery services to ensure the packages are handled securely. Meanwhile, you can do your part by retrieving your packages promptly and keeping an eye for your neighbor as well. Leaving packages out for an extensive amount of time is just, again, open invitation for those that are looking to get those packages out of your homes, and you won't be receiving your packages, and you're going to have trouble getting in touch with Amazon or FedEx or UPS to get those packages redelivered. So do yourselves a favor, as soon as you get that notification, bring your packages in, or have a neighbor bring the packages in for you. Another subject, like Michelle mentioned, is the homeless issue that we've been encountering around our community. We are aware of those encampments as well. If anything, our patrol has been out and about in the Breckenridge area and as well in the northern part of the community to do our patrols as much as we can. And try to get any trespassers, which we have encountered, off of premises as soon as possible. Let alone from the month of November to today, we've had a total of 4 trespassers in our common area facilities, which thankfully, because of you guys reporting it, we've been able to get these individuals out as well as arrested and do an inconvenience for them so that they can prevent from coming back into the neighborhood. So if you feel that there's somebody that doesn't belong in the community or using our facilities, word of thumb is to always call security, and we'll go out there, give us a description, location. We will be out there immediately to get these individuals removed because we don't want them here. We want to make sure that the community remains very safe, and you guys are doing your part by reporting that to us as well. Cybersecurity awareness, we have a cybersecurity awareness initiative that I'm working with my team along with the community and those that want to participate. We have observed an uptick in reports of phishing scams and fraudulent delivery notifications targeting our residents. To address this, we have been advising residents to verify authenticity of emails, text, and phone calls claiming to be from delivery services or family. Residents can call Banning PD to report any suspicious salesperson trying to retain personal info, such as your credit card details, bank account information, or social security numbers. This stems back to the elder abuse case as well. Somebody can easily say that they're a caregiver, in reality they're not, and trying to retain your banking information, credit card, social security, just so that they can go about and do some light shopping for themselves, and you'd be surprised when you get your bank statements or financial credit card statements, some charges that you weren't expecting. So definitely be cautious with that. Be careful who you give your personal information to. Use secure payment methods and avoid suspicious websites as well. Our team is available to assist residents with basic guidance on identifying potential scams. Banning PD also has a hotline, non-emergency phone number for Banning PD. Give them a call. There's an option for you to report suspicious or fraudulent activity, whether it be by phone calls or email, or somebody just showing up to your door asking for your personal information. We've recently received extreme weather alerts. As you can tell, it's fire and wind season out here in our area, in the Riverside County, that are going to be in effect starting tonight through Thursday evening. High winds and heightened risk of wildfires on the horizon. Preparation is crucial. Clear away any dry brush or debris from around your property, ensuring defensible space to reduce fire hazards. Secure outdoor furniture or items that might become projectiles in strong winds, and have an emergency kit ready with essentials like water, flashlights, and important documents. Should we encounter a full power outage in our community, remain calm. My team and EPAP personnel will be readily available to assist those in need. Staying informed through the community alerts and maintaining open communication with neighbors can significantly enhance our collective safety during these challenging weather conditions. Please have the security backup line ready, as our landlines will be down should we encounter a power outage. Our security landline will not be up and running. That number, if you guys are ready, and for you guys out there in TV land, is 951 area code 604-8418. Once again, 951-604-8418. That is our backup cell phone line that is going to be turned on immediately once we do encounter a power outage through the entire community. Security codes. Who's familiar with their security codes? It's the one that you guys provide to our security officers when you call residents or guests, guest or anybody in. That is such a huge security factor for you guys to take advantage of. So under any circumstances, should you be giving your security code to your pizza delivery guy or your DoorDasher or anybody else? That's a security tool for you guys. If that security code is handed out to anybody else, guess what? That person's going to be calling, claiming they're you. Here's my security code. It is hard for us to identify who's calling. I get 365 calls a day. So the security code is very effective. Be protective over it. Pretend it's your PIN number and how to call somebody in for gaining access to the community. So it's a certain way of us using that as a protection to prevent people to come into the community that we don't want in. Looking ahead to the new year, our team remains committed and to fostering a safe and secure environment for all of our residents. As always, our security department appreciates and supports the cooperation of Sun Lakes Community and Management. And together, we're going to ensure and secure a welcoming atmosphere for everyone for this upcoming year. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions? Wow.
No one has one question for Mike? Okay, here we go. I thought so. Okay, so hang on just a minute. Remember, we are on Channel 97. You must have a microphone so that everybody can hear you, okay? So make sure, raise your hand, and we have people coming out to give you a microphone.
How do you update a security code?
You can call our call center or our gate number 1 or gate number 2 or gate number 5. Let us know, I am from 123 Breckenridge, here's my current security code. I'd like to update that security code. One of our managers or supervisors at the station will be more than happy to update your security code. It could be the last digit of your social, your pet's name, anniversary date, which is hard for most of us guys like me. But anything that you guys feel comfortable using as a security code, just refrain from giving it to anybody, just yourselves, okay? Perfect. All right, thank you, folks.
You got off easy. Okay, so let's get on with our presentation, and I'm going to introduce Ruben Gonzalez. He is the Executive Director of the Blue Zones Project in Banning.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for the warm welcome, Michelle. Can we give another round of applause for Michelle and all that she does? Well, thank you guys for having me here today. I really, really appreciate it. Can you guys do me a quick favor? Can you guys look to the person next to you and say, man, you look good today? Say, wow, you even took a shower today. I like that. Good hygiene. I like it. Like Michelle said, my name is Ruben Gonzalez. I'm the Executive Director for the Banning Blue Zones Project, which I will tell you a little bit about in a few. I wanted to give you some history on me. Some of you know me. I also served on City Council recently, and I was also the Executive Director for the Banning Chamber. Community service and serving my community, apparently, it's something I do truly love. I was born and raised here in Banning. And so to go to get my degree, come back to Banning, and to serve my community really, really provides me with a lot of purpose. And it's something that I truly, truly do care about my community. And this is just another way, and I get to wear a different hat here at Blue Zones to provide a service to the community. And it is all about well-being. And how many know well-being is much more than just what you eat, right? It is way more than just what you eat. A lot of people hear about Blue Zones, and then we think we're like the food police, right? Don't eat that Dorito. Get that out of your mouth, right? It's like, no, it's not. I'm wearing Cheez-It socks for crying out loud, okay? So that's not it at all. In Blue Zones, how many of you guys know about a little bit about Blue Zones? Ah, that's nice. I love the little verbal surveys. Okay, how many have been maybe referred to actively pursue or engage in Blue Zones activities? Okay, that went down a lot. Let's try to get that up. Okay. That's good to know. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just give a quick overview, and then we'll do questions after, right, later on. And I'm sure that you'll have some, but I'm going to go ahead and start it off with the origin. Okay, so Dan Buettner actually partnered up. He's a world bicyclist, right? And he ended up partnering up with National Geographic. And he kind of, as he traveled the world, he found these longevity hotspots that people were living like 100, 105, still riding their bikes. And he's like, what the heck are they doing? Like, what do they do in their daily life that allows them to live like that, right? And so they started to do a deep dive into actually doing data assessments. And they found that these 5 areas were these longevity hotspots, right? So Okinawa, Japan, Ikaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, and then one of our very own here in California, Loma Linda. Right? So that's very, very cool to know that we have one here in our community. And how many know the reason why Loma Linda is Seventh-day Advent? Yes, very, very good. And that's something that's very true. They have that lifestyle, plant slant, right? They're all about that lifestyle, and so that qualified them to be in that category of the longevity hotspots. So that's the 5. And so now it became more than just data and information. It transformed into how can we bring those 5 hotspots into other communities, right? Because they're obviously doing something right if they're living a long life. And it's way more than just being the food police, right? And so what they found, what we're doing now is that Blue Zones is going throughout all the communities that are interested in implementing the Blue Zones lifestyle, right? And so the purpose is to empower everyone everywhere to live better longer. That is the blanket elevator speech. If you get away with nothing else today, that's what you can memorize right there. So the basics of how it is formulated is they had to identify what they call the life radius. How many know, especially in Sun Lakes, 90% of what you do and what you interact is right here within a 20-mile radius. If anything, Sun Lakes is like a 20 feet, because you guys have everything here, right? Maybe you guys can have a grocery store right in Sun Lakes, and then you wouldn't have to go anywhere, right? And that's what's awesome about Sun Lakes is you guys have so much cool stuff. And I love how many clubs that you guys have. I think it's like in the hundreds. Am I wrong? There's a lot of clubs. So, and that is perfectly aligned with what Blue Zones is about. And they identified life radius is 90% of where you spend your time is about 20 miles from where you live. This is something that is very pertinent about the Blue Zone's life. That's the lifestyle of what they want to implement in communities, and it's called the Power 9, right? And so the very first one, and I know it's kind of small, but I'll verbally explain it to all of you. The first one is to move naturally. Now, a lot of people think that also Blue Zones is like you need to go join a gym, right? And that's not really what it is. It's how can you integrate natural movement in your everyday life, right? How can you go wake up, and then if you're going to go have a walk with your friend just to go talk, that's just incorporating natural movement so that your body's moving. You're not just sitting on the couch or laying in bed all day, right? And that's something very important is the natural movement. The second one is purpose. That's my favorite. How many know how important it is to wake up every day and have something to look forward to, right? Whether, I don't know if coffee would be your purpose, but it's a good way to start your day, right? I think it's like, ooh, I'm excited to have some coffee. Well, I don't know if that's technically a purpose, but it does help you get there. I believe purpose is such a huge pivotal thing in anyone's life. And I wish that it would be taught more in schools, honestly, because kids need to understand at a young age that we're all given gifts. Some of you are really good talkers. Some of you are introvert and you are good at hospitality, or you're good at serving. There's so many different talents in this room, and it's identifying what are those gifts that you were naturally kind of given. How can you utilize that to serve your community and have a purpose, right? Because there's some people that live life and they don't want to find their purpose. And then they just walk around all like this and all sad, and it's like, who wants to be around somebody like that? It's not very inspiring and uplifting. So purpose is a huge thing in the Blue Zone type of lifestyle. So, sorry, I went too quick. Downshift. Downshift, I know that you guys can do as a retiree. Actually, sometimes I know that when you retired, it goes opposite. You're like, no, I'm active in everything. I'm more busier than I was actually in my career, right? But downshift is a huge thing because I know that in people's careers, it's so important that, I don't know about you, but I'm really ambitious and I'm motivated to the point to where I have to constantly seek balance, because sometimes I'll go so far like into something that I have to forget to like downshift and spend time with my family, friends, my loved ones, because sometimes they'll get neglected if you're so caught up in all the things that you're doing to serve your community that you're like, well, you're just neglecting the people at home too, right? And so downshifting it's a mentality to make sure that you are spending time with your loved ones and giving all the balance that is required in our lives. The 80% rule, this one I laugh about because growing up in my home, we were definitely on the poverty level, and so when whatever was on your plate was like, you better eat all of what's on the plate. There's no, we're not throwing food away, right? You don't waste food. And that mentality was something that a lot of people grew up with, is that you don't want to waste food because you bought it, right? But the 80% rule is counterintuitive to that mentality, to where it's like, hey, look, if you're full, you're full. We don't need to force a 6-foot burrito if we don't have to, okay? Even though it's good, you're just like, eat past the pain. Eat past the plate. It's like we don't have to do that. 80% rule is a good mentality to have for every meal that we eat, to where it's just like when you're full, you're full. You can take it home if you want to for leftovers or give it to somebody else, right? So that's a good rule right there. Just like how we were saying in Loma Linda, plant slant. Those are things of the earth, right? Healthy for you. It's not like they say don't eat any meat. It's just don't overconsume. I think it's preferred like 2 to 3 times a month. Right? But plant slant is a good thing to incorporate into our diet that just kind of helps all of the things in our body work functional and properly, right? So plant slant is another thing. This one is a fan favorite, wine at 5. Who would have thought that? You could take that. This is live, so it's recorded, so I'm pretty sure you can hold me to it. Wine at 5. Wine at 5 is awesome, and it's kind of the similar mentality of downshifting. At the end of the day, especially like for a work day, you want to make sure that you enjoy a glass of wine with friends and family. I said glass, not a bottle. I know, it's like 12 font. Yeah, it's very... So make sure, and that's really what it's meant for. Of course, there's some qualities in wine that are beneficial for your body, but it's really meant for the camaraderie and the social aspect to make sure that you're connected, right? So that way you can talk about your day. We are all humans. We go through stuff. A lot of stuff is not all fun stuff. So when we enjoy Wine at 5, it's good to connect with the people that we care about and talk about those things. Right Tribe. Right Tribe is very, very similar. It's all very connected because it's the people that are in your tribe. How many know that maybe growing up when you're younger, it's like having a huge party at your house was like, oh, I'm popular, right? But you only maybe had, maybe 1, 2 true friends in the entire house that people were there, right? And so growing up, I think that mentality, it shifts as you mature, that you're saying, well, I only need like 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 tops of good people in my life. Having a lot, yeah, it's cool to say that, but it's honestly a good right tribe is a good group of people that you can enjoy life with and talk about the struggles that we all go through. A few more, just 3 more. Loved ones first. This is a good one too. Family. Family is so important, right? You're recognizing your roots, having gratitude for mom, dad, their siblings, daughters, all of that. It's very important to have that, to love the loved ones first so that they feel connected to something. We're all social beings. We need to feel connected somehow. We don't live life alone, which is a good segment to belonging. Belonging is a huge thing. I would hate to live life feeling alone, that you just don't have anybody to talk to, or you don't feel like there's something to look forward to connect with your friends or your family. And so belonging is really important. And so those are the Power 9. So if you could just start integrating that today, that'd be great. And then that way I could just go home feeling like I have succeeded today. So I'll just, and I'll give you a contract. It's very, very, fine print, but just sign it real quick, and then that way I feel good about myself today, okay? So with all that being said, those are things to integrate into your life, and Blue Zones really here is meant to come into communities to make changes to policies, to environment, to your food systems, because how many know whatever you're surrounded by, you're most likely to consume. If you're surrounded by a bunch of liquor stores, well, guess what? It's maybe a little bit more easier to consume that, right? If you're surrounded by a bunch of tobacco products, well, you might take up smoking and you didn't even realize that was something that you wanted, right? But it just goes to show how important it is that your environment is so crucial to how we consume things. And so Blue Zones is here to really change some of the statistics from the negative to the positive. So I know that some of them are small, so I'm just going to call it out. So let's take, for example, in Minnesota, they did a Blue Zones project, just like we're doing in Banning, and they were able to increase about 3 years added to someone's life in that region, which is, that's a lot. You think of how many days, every single day, that's a lot. I'm not good at math, but 365 times 3 is a lot. That's a lot of days, right? Another example, they were able to, because they had the impact in that community and started to build relationships, they were able to get $40 million in grants in that area to increase some of those objectives and initiatives that they're doing. Another one this is an amazing one. So in the beach cities, in Redondo Beach, they have a Blue Zone project. They were able to decrease childhood obesity by 55%. Isn't that amazing? Like all of those kids, that is so many children's lives that they've just increased, and they had no idea just by implementing a strategy with the school district to make healthier choices for food in the cafeteria, right? Simple. It's so simple, but it's these things that I think American culture, we get so used to cost effectiveness, which we know. Margins are better for corporations, of course, and don't get me down that rabbit hole of stuff. But it seems just sometimes that's the easier solution, but some things like this, you literally change lives with making those ethical and moral decisions, right? So those are great examples. Another one, 31% decrease in smoking in Fort Worth, Texas. Isn't that insane? 31%. These are some amazing statistics that when Blue Zones comes into a community and they say, hey, look, we want to partner with the community. We want to find ways to help the well-being. And this is the statistics that are happening around the well, the nation, right? Because it's not just here. There's over, Blue Zones is now over in 70 plus communities doing all the same thing. So we get to do this here in Banning now. So I'm going to show you a video that kind of delineates a little bit more on what they're doing in Fort Worth, Texas.
The whole idea for Fort Worth and for what we're doing here is we have to change the way that we think about what exercise is.
Blue Zones is not about going to the gym. It's about gardening and just moving and taking walks with friends. It makes it so doable.
We launched a Fitness Sunday, one time a month, to totally bring the body together and just create this awesome synergy. It is encouraging people to make healthy choices, to make better choices. It's encouraging them to eat right and then to do it as a community.
Here at the airport, we made it a part of our incentive program. We offer the facility for them to work out. We have a golf league, tennis league, badminton league, just to keep our employees moving and engaged.
Walking school buses is to encourage kids to get out, walk, be active, and they're enjoying it, and they're feeling good about themselves. If we can encourage that and we can get people up and active, then we got them hooked, and hopefully we can keep them for life.
Schools have to adhere to certain policies about not having junk food readily available, which is a Blue Zones concept, making the readily available things like healthy fruit. There's been a change of kids being interested in like, oh, I didn't know this was considered healthy. This really tastes good.
We don't only offer them the youth athletics, the sports, but we also offer them mentorship during practices or games. We'll offer fresh fruit as a healthy snack, and the kids literally just eat it up.
The doctor said that your blood pressure's high and cholesterol unbalanced. Company-wise, we started this health initiative, and I've incorporated a lot of healthier choices in my life. We do ergonomic stretches on a daily basis before the start of the shift. Just get a little range of motion going. Honestly, I feel a lot better, like a person that knows that he has purpose in life.
We're trying to help people live longer by making choices easy for them. It shouldn't be harder to have to walk than it is to drive. It shouldn't be harder to get the healthy options than it is to get the drive-through and the fast food.
We need something in Fort Worth you can eat and not feel disgusting. We added the charred avocado and we added the pineapple. We do 15% off if you walk to Taco Heads. Seeing Fort Worth people walking on Montgomery Street is really cool.
This is for my body. Cooking for me now is essential, like eat. I feel new women.
We've partnered now with almost 500 organizations across Fort Worth. 131 work sites, 44 schools, 66 restaurants, 20 grocery stores. This is really collective impact, and it's about all the community focusing on one thing. That's what it takes to move the needle, and it's amazing to be part of that.
That Wine and Five right there. There's the favorite. So isn't that so cool to see that in a big city over in Texas that they're doing all these great things, right? And just by simply partnering with the community, partnering with school districts, partnering with restaurants, partnering with all these entities, and just making those relationships so that way we can all move together in a good direction. So how does that translate to Banning? What is the process like, right? We had an assessment phase, I think it was almost like 2 years ago now, an assessment phase to say, well, does Banning even want this? Does the community even want it? Because if they don't want it, it's not going to happen, because it takes the people. It's a collective impact, right? And so what they did is did an assessment on a full report And it was with the city council, which I think I was on at the time, and then also with the chamber, with a bunch of different organizations, and they did an assessment report. And so they came back and they said, yes, we do want to do it. So we are here now during the foundation period, which is, it's the community, we did the community input, the discovery, and so we just got back, we had our national team, we call them our subject matter experts from Blue Zone's national team. So we have policy experts, in alcohol, in tobacco, in built environment. They're like urban planners, and we have experts in food systems, right? And so they come down to all of these Blue Zones projects throughout the communities, and they do an assessment. They go in and say, okay, cool. Well, it looks like we need more food systems on the east side of town. We don't have a grocery store there. We need to do, well, there's a lot of liquor stores in Benning, so we need to make sure that we're proactive and maybe less marketing promotions. And so they do this full-blown assessment, and they give us the discovery report, and we go back to the community and say, hey, look, this is what they found. If you want to be a part of it and help implement it, this is how you can get involved. And so now we are going to enter into the transformation phase in a few months, which is when they call it the blueprint. And that blueprint is going to be our guide at Blue Zone's banning project to start and implement. And we have 3.5 years to implement all of the things that the national experts came to us for suggestions. I would not be able to do it alone. I'd be stressed out. I'd probably have to do wine at noon, 1, 2, and on. So I have an amazing team that I was able to hire. And so Robert Seibel right here in the corner, he is our well-being organization lead. He is also a Banning boy / native. He's born and raised here as well. So we definitely know the community and the needs and the wants, and so he was a perfect fit for this position. So we are grateful that he is on board, and he's going to do some great things. So what does the well-being organization lead? Robbie will be doing the partnering with the school district, the partnering with the restaurant owners, the things that have to do with built environment and food systems. So he's going to partner with nonprofits, right? He's the one that's going to be doing all of that sector of work. And then we have Ashley, Ashley and Thomas weren't able to be here today, but Ashley Radke is our community engagement lead. So she's going to do a lot of the purpose workshops, a lot of they call them MOIs, like clubs, where we can have like a walking parade or a bicycle parade and things that encourage natural movement, right? So she'll be focusing heavily on community engagement. Last but not least, but the one that has the most teeth in this project, not physically, like he has good teeth, but he doesn't know a lot of teeth. Thomas Miranda is our policy lead. So our policy lead, and when I say there's teeth, because that's when you start changing policies, there is some actual grit and teeth to it, right? And so we just got a discovery report for our tobacco and alcohol policies. And so to change some of those policies, I don't know about you, but our young people struggle with like the vaping industry right now, right? And so the tobacco industry, they get kind of a slap on the wrist. This is just an example, because there's going to be tobacco, alcohol, built environment, food systems. This is just for tobacco as a policy example. So they get a slap on the wrist for selling to underage minors, right? And so we, in the city of Banning, we have control over policies for the stores that sell tobacco products, right, or vape. We can go in and suggest to the city council to amend a resolution that says no slap on the wrist. We will give them a first warning of a huge fine, whatever we want to dictate to that feels like it's not a slap on the wrist. And then the second time, we pull their license, if they do, right? So that's a policy change. That's something that we can integrate from the Blue Zones aspect to advocate and say, hey, city council, can you amend this resolution? And you wouldn't think that they would have any opposition, and they shouldn't, but that's stuff that we can do on the policy side. And the same thing for alcohol, right? And so those are things that are very important for us to partner with city council and the chamber and the organizations so we can advocate for those policy changes. So how can you get involved, right? We already established the steering committee, and we're grateful that we have a few here today. Michelle is part of our steering committee. We have Debbie Robbins that are part of the steering committee, and they're going to keep you in the know about a lot of the things that is going to be transforming into this blueprint project. But that doesn't mean that just because the steering committee is full, you still can be involved. And some of you I know are like, well, I'm really passionate about education. I'm really passionate about the youth. And I want to be involved in the school district aspect. Well, we're going to form committees that are subcommittees for all of those sectors, right? So we'll have a policy committee. We will have a schools committee, a worksite committee, restaurant and grocer. So all of those committees is something that you guys could still be active if you want to participate, right? That also coincides with just you doing the Power 9 with the contract that I'm gonna send you so that you can sign. That's gonna be the Power 9 that you're committing to. So those are ways that you can get involved. So if you're interested in that, you can contact me or Robbie after, or even Michelle or Debbie, and we can connect you to see how it is that you want to be part of this transformation here in Banning. These are our sponsors. The reason why we get to do what we do is because the health industry recognized how important and how much validity there is to this initiative, right? So IEHP is no small organization. They're like, we recognize what Blue Zones has done in other communities. We want to fund this because it makes sense for us to keep people healthy. IEHP, Kaiser Permanente, Molina, Riverside University Health, Banning, and then we have a slew of other ones. And well, this is just for our region, but every single region has like their own regional sponsors, because it makes sense, right? We have Coachella that just is launching a project for Blue Zones. Palm Springs is launching a Blue Zones project. Riverside is. So the whole goal for us is to go into communities and implement the same strategy. And how many know every community is different? So it's not just like a one-size-fits-all, and so it's important to partner with people that live in the community so that way we can be proactive in implementing the correct solutions. So I know that we're going to wait for questions, or did you want to, yeah? We'll wait for questions, and we're really grateful to be a part of this initiative, and we're excited that we're going to do some good things here in the community, and hopefully we can do it with the people that are passionate also in the community. So thank you guys for having us today. We appreciate you.
Hang on. There we go. Okay, so Sally Jo and Shannon are going to go around, and if you have any questions, wait till the microphone comes, and then you can ask any questions. And I know somebody's got to have some questions here. Oh, here we go.
Is there a website now, or is there going to be a website where we can sort of follow what's going on and see opportunities to get involved?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is that we'll have to get with you to provide you with that website. But it's going to be, banningbluezonesproject.com or something like that. And it's already live. We just have to, we'll send you guys the correct link. Maybe we'll Michelle facilitate that so she can give it to you guys. Yeah.
I'll put it in community awareness so everybody can see it.
I know that Banning, maybe even 2 years ago, had said they wanted to be a blue zone. I'm surprised that the warehouses were able to get in there, especially being so close to our community, when they wanted to be a blue zone. The fumes from warehouses is detrimental to everybody's health.
Well, we'll start with the easy questions first, apparently. Thank you for that. We're playing hardball now. No, I think that, so Blue Zones, that just to be, God, how can I delicate with this? It's not like we advocate for or against warehousing. It's more like we integrate, let's say if there is somehow a warehouse in the community, we want to work with the work site itself to provide healthy alternatives within that business. But the Blue Zones, it's not necessarily, that's not what we advocate for or against. And I have my own opinions, of course, on it, and I know you guys do too. But that's not entirely, it's a collective community effort, right, for that specific thing. And that's also heavily reliant on city council. So I'll end it with that one.
Hello again. I'll stand up. Good exercise.
There you go.
What officially makes an area official blue zone? Does it take a certain percentage of everybody being involved, or do they keep track of something like that?
Yeah, so we wouldn't, HOPE is definitely not a strategy or a measurable metric, right? And so what we do is have a criteria. Our criteria has exactly what you're talking about, is there is a specific and a percent of work sites that need to be approved out of the totality of the city. So if there are 200 work sites, we need to hit a specific benchmark out of that 200, and the same thing goes for the schools. The same thing goes for policy. There's a criteria, and if anything, if you're interested, we can show you exactly what that criteria is, because that's what our benchmark is that we need to hit, right? And so it's not just like, oh, hope this works, right? We have to hit a specific measurable outcome so that we know if we're successful or not. So thank you for that. That's a great question.
Thank you for your presentation. I note the sponsors, many of them are medical facilities. My question is, did we approach Loma Linda? They've been a blue zone for many years, and when I say Loma Linda, not referring to the city, but to Loma Linda Medical Center and their expertise in achieving this.
They are actually very much a part of it. A lot of the assessment comes from those experts as well. They provide us with their consultation on what works as well. So they are definitely
So we
part of it.
are in collaboration with them.
Correct. That is 100%
you.
true, yes.
Yes. Sally Jo.
What can you tell us about the possibility that Beaumont will also be a blue zone city?
Well, I actually had a conversation with the city council, the mayor pro tem over there, and they are interested in implementing it over there. We're hoping that it's going to be infectious and contagious to where they're going to be like, oh, we want that too, right? And so, like I said, though, it has to be something that is agreed upon by the community. And if the city council wants to move forward with it, it has to be a majority, right? And so I think that they are interested, but I guess we'll find out as time goes on.
You know, I just joined a new medical group, and it's run by Blue Zone. And that's what's on my insurance card. Does that have to do with you?
It does, but we are, so there's like there's two, I guess that would be like our sister. It's the same company, but Blue Zone's project is a whole other thing, and then there's Blue Zone's Health. Blue Zone's Health focuses on what kind of like the Power 9 that we were talking about, but on an individual to client basis. We do a community collective effort where it's a project for an entire city. Blue Zone's Health is really merely for the one-on-one interaction with the client, yeah.
We recently toured a Blue Zone medical facility, and the way their one-on-one patient involvement that they have, the connection they have, was amazing. And to be honest with you, I'm thinking it might revolutionize the healthcare system because it's very one-on-one. They're asking you what's going on instead of right now. I feel like when I go to the doctor, they're like, oh, here's your pill, get out, or there's nothing we can do, and get out, and give us our money. So what we experienced is I really feel like it's going to revolutionize healthcare.
Yeah, which is just to piggyback off of what Robert was saying, it's highly focused on not providing you with pills. They want you to be proactive, not reactive. Right? Do things that are going to encourage health and not just pop a pill and hope that it works, right? And so that is something that is very, very cool about that. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Yes, you mentioned the discovery reports.
Yeah.
Is there one for each of these 9 areas?
There will be actually for alcohol and tobacco has their own discovery report.
Okay.
Built environment will have their own discovery, and then the last is food system.
Okay, and
Yeah.
will those be available for people to see?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
but-
and in fact, just to even go further, we are hosting what we're calling it a summit, and that the discovery report that came from the national team, we're going to go and we're going to have a 2-day event. And if you're interested in attending, that's when we're going to show you everything about those discovery reports that came back.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
And the discovery reports are specific to our area, so it's not a blanket statement. They came out, they interviewed people, they spoke to our community, young people, our seniors, and everywhere in between. So it's very specific to Banning itself, which is what I love, because growing up here, I've been here 49 years. A lot of times we get blanketed into the San Gorgonio Pass area instead of just Banning, and we're different than what Beaumont is. So it's exciting that it's specific just to Banning in our community.
Hi. This has been very exciting for me. As you know, this has been something that I've been really, really excited to see coming. You just mentioned that there's an element of environmental, and I didn't realize that, and that's really excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about more that what that means? As you know, I'm already concerned about how you make compatible warehouses and cannabis factories in the middle of neighborhoods when you're talking about what, you know, health and good living. So I'd like to hear more.
Yeah, no, so the built environment aspect is really on the consuming of how we consume things, right? Because the well-being for Blue Zones on that aspect specifically is what we consume. And so if there is things that are around us, or maybe I should change it for accessibility. And it's more for the consuming side of like foods, for the built environment, and then also the alcohol and tobacco. So the accessibility or lack of is an issue for, let's say, the central and east side of town, because they have to come all the way to Highland Springs to go to a grocery store. And so for built environment, this is the things that we analyze, and we're like, well, they're probably going to spend money at liquor stores that have chips and unhealthy foods because they don't have access to a grocery store on that side. And so we think about that cognitively and an analysis that will break down what's near us in that regard for the built environment.
So if we're walking, because we're supposed to be walking and being involved in the environment, how do we deal with the quality of air that we're breathing in that experience?
No, that's a great question. And that's honestly probably a better question for the subject matter expert than I can answer. They're the experts that provide the consultation to us to implement things. Of course, they want our feedback, right? They want our suggestions on what we think would be beneficial in the community, but that's above my pay grade. That's the national level. But I can definitely ask them. I'm sorry. I can, yeah, what we can do, I don't want you to feel like you're not being, we're not attentive to what that question is. I'll ask for sure. Right. So yeah, I will ask that.
I have more of a comment than a question. I think Sun Lakes is as close to being a blue zone without officially being a blue zone, because we have so many people here that live well into their, active lives into their 80s, 90s, and we have many people that reach 100 and over. So this community is already incorporating a lot of the Power 9 Blue Zone project ideas, and we have just a wealth of information that could be valuable to the entire Banning community, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here that would love to share what they know with the project.
I totally agree. You make our lives a lot easier. Honestly, if we could just slap a Blue Zones sticker on all of Sun Lakes just to say Blue Zones approved, and you make my life a lot easier. But I agree with you. You guys do. You have clubs. You are moving naturally. You have this whole ecosystem here in Sun Lakes that allows you to engage like that, and so it's awesome. And if anything, you guys could be subject matter experts and help the rest of the community, right? From the knowledge that you have accrued here just in Sun Lakes. So how awesome would it be to say that Sun Lakes community would be the first Blue Zones approved senior citizen community, right? How awesome would that be? You guys can brag the heck out of that all day. So I love it.
Great.
That's why me and Ruben golf here so much, because of that exact. We've been telling Blue Zones, we're trying to get them to pay for our rounds of golf, because we're here doing studies, research.
Hi, I heard you say there's 70 projects across the country. How many are in California? What's your projection as far as what you're looking for? And who's the overall in charge person or corporation that's heading and producing this whole transaction of Blue Zone projects?
Yeah, that's a great question. Some of it I can't answer. It's okay. Because I don't know exactly how many are in California, but I can find that out for you for sure. I definitely can tell you that it's growing.
We're launching five
just in
Riverside County, which has never been done before. So everywhere else in the country Blue Zones they've never come out into a county and said we're launching all 5 of these, and all simultaneously. They're all going on in the same few months. And I would say there's probably maybe 8 to 10. In California, it's maybe even more.
I think it's more, honestly,
'Cause
because
Loma Linda,
there's some
up north,
in
there's
no-
quite a
up north,
few.
yeah, and then there's a few beach cities, Redondo, Manhattan, Hermosa, I believe. So there's quite a few, yeah. Our CEO is Ben Liedl. He actually was a partner with Dan Buettner. So Dan Buettner and Nick Buettner are brothers. They're the ones that basically spearheaded this. They hired the CEO, Ben Liedl. I don't have his resume/portfolio, but he's definitely qualified because the flow chart on the systems on performance optimization is impressive. I've been a part of many organizations, and it is wild how greatly structured it is. And it's, yeah, from national level to local level, it's just really well put together. The CEO, Ben Liedl, Ben, let's see, L-E-E-D-L-E, I believe. D-L-E-E-D-L-E, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
There's an awesome, I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but on Netflix, there's a 4-part docuseries that kind of gives the heart of it and where it started and Dan Buettner's journey and where he came up with this stuff. And I learned a lot before I even joined the organization, just watching those documentaries. Yeah, definitely. Netflix. Yeah. Yes.
Hi. Some of us had already received surveys. So what was done with that information that we supplied?
I'm not too sure what survey that you received, but there.
Blue Zone survey. Others must have received it as well as I.
I'm not too
Oh,
sure.
it was a Gallup poll.
Oh, the Gallup, yes.
But
Yeah,
it
that's
was
separate,
Blue,
yeah.
it was Blue Zone though.
Yeah, and we do that. So we definitely rely heavily on their assessment of statistics so that we can be better successful. So Gallup is its own survey that is probably spearheaded by or I don't know how, because Blue Zones probably said, hey, Gallup, can you make sure that the information is accurate so that way we can be successful in our project. Yeah, because it's heavily built off of metrics and statistics for us, so.
The Blue Zones documentary is Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zones. And it's a 4-part on Netflix.
Any more? I think one last one.
Thank you for a presentation and bringing up the discussions. I want to build on the idea the lady over there brought up, is what we can do within Sun Lakes. If, yes, we may have many successful people and who've lived long lives. I know a group who eat very well, who have changed their lives. My wife and I changed about 4 years ago when we whole food, plant-based. Is there an idea of creating a support group that we can share these ideas internally so that we, our seniors, can learn?
Yeah, and in that slide that I showed you that was about those subcommittees are where you can provide the input and help with the strategy of the blueprint. Your knowledge will be pertinent in how it can be successful, right? And so it also will depend on where you want to spend your time and energy based off of where maybe your passion is. I hope so. I sure hope so. Right. We would love your participation, honestly. I think that would be amazing. The whole point is it's a collective effort, so the more the merrier, for sure.
And this turnout is awesome. I just want to thank you, show our gratitude for having so many of you out here and wanting to join us, support us, and partner with us. So thank you guys so very much.
Thank you, guys.
To answer your question, not that I need another committee to be on, but we can put something together if you would be willing to help. And we could get something going, and we could have meetings and see how many people are interested, and have Ruben come in and discuss certain aspects of it. Healthy eating. I know we were trying to see if we could get a farmer's market. I'm going to ask somebody, so that's something that we really would like to have, is a farmer's market. And something that we can get together with our own chef here and see if we can have healthier options instead of so many fried things. So that might be something that we'd be able to do. So I know we've got a couple board members here. I hope that they're listening. So if you wouldn't mind, if you give me your name at the end, we can get something going and try and get a committee or a group and see what, see what we could get going. So, Ruben, I thank you, and I tell you, Debbie and I are super, super excited to be on the steering committee, and I know it's going to work here in Sun Lakes, and we'll get together and figure out what we can do and do for the whole community of Banning. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have our PD here, and he's going to give us a brief update. Officer Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for missing the last couple meetings. I've been on patrol training new officers, and I just had a baby, so I've been off for a little bit. Thank you. So I have not been the homeless liaison officer for the last 2 months, being as I've been off and training new officers. But last month, for the month of December, the Banning Police Department had 108 transient call for services, and they made 38 arrests. There was no cleanups done because obviously I wasn't doing my current assignment. I know there's a big deal back here behind your guys' community. We're working on it. We're trying. Logistically, it's not the easiest place to get to. We're working on with the railroad and Caltrans to try to get back there as soon as possible, but working with multi-agencies takes a little bit of time and jumping through hoops and make sure we get all the proper approval. Any other questions?
I know the holidays, there was a DUI checkpoint.
Yes.
How was that successful, or what did that result in?
It was successful. I don't know the exact numbers of what we got. I know we did not get any DUI drivers, but we did issue somewhere around 30 to 40 tickets for unlicensed. So technically DUI checkpoints, we can no longer call them solely DUI checkpoints. They have to be called a CDL, a driver's license checkpoint / DUI checkpoint. Case law changed a couple of years ago, but we're no longer be able to just stop everybody who comes through a DUI checkpoint just to make sure they're DUI. We stop for driver's license checks, and then if they're DUI from there, we'll conduct our investigation. Yeah.
No other questions? That was quick.
I think you have one
Is there
more
one?
back there.
Oh, right here, hang on.
I live on the north side, and so over our wall from the golf course, I understand they're taking care of it. But the last few nights, usually we don't hear the trains blowing their horns, but they have been consistent from like Albertsons, and they're just laying on that horn all the way past us. So it seems that it has escalated, and the debris and the people and the driving back and forth there it's escalating. So hopefully you have a timeline when you can get that cleaned up.
Yeah, there is some kind of timeline. We're hoping this month, but obviously Caltrans being a state agency on top of the Union Pacific Railroad Police, when they do an operation, it's a big deal. They roll hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment out, and so it's not something we could do tomorrow for you, but we are in the process of trying to get those cleaned up for you guys.
Jeffrey Platt had sent me an email stating that it's going to be in the next 2 weeks once they get with Caltrans and
Yeah.
with the railroad.
Yes.
So I know that, and I had explained that earlier, and I think some people weren't here yet. But I had already explained, and I had talked to you, or I had emailed you, and I had emailed Jeffrey Platt. So it will be taken care of. It just takes time. These things are not, it doesn't happen overnight.
There's only one of me, so it takes time.
Hi, regarding the encampment cleanup
Yes.
for the homeless, do they accept volunteers from the community to
So,
help with the cleanup?
Occasionally, we do some kind of volunteer. So actually, coming up here soon, we'll have the annual homeless count through the Riverside County. You're more than welcome to volunteer for that. Michelle might be able to give you the information.
Is that like a census?
To be a census of the homeless. Jeff is kind of spearheading that for the city as the homeless director. So Michelle will give you his info, and we'll be able to figure out. As far as cleanups go, no. So as a city, we don't have a public works department. We don't have a trash company. So a lot of that is outsourced, and/or it's done by myself and Jeff with his personal truck and his personal trailer, and we do it all on our
Caltrans
own.
doesn't do any of that?
No.
Oh.
That's all done by us out of the kindness of Jeff's heart. It's not falling under his job duties, and it no longer falls under ours either.
But is it a liability issue if you're a resident of Banning that you want to volunteer?
I would imagine it's some kind of liability issue, because obviously we're picking up not clean things, we're picking up trash.
Right.
On top of narcotic paraphernalia and whatever other nonsense they have out there, soiled linens and different things along with that.
can imagine. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
No other questions? Oh, we do have one.
Why can't you get the homeless to clean up their own mess?
If I had an answer for that, I would answer, but we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make him drink, right? Yes, ma'am. Of course.
I was going into Albertsons the other day, and there was a young woman sitting on the cement entry there with a child that was about a month old, if it was that. Asking for help, asking for diapers, is there a specific agency or phone number or something we can call? I didn't want to call the police. I didn't want her arrested, and I didn't want her whatever. I don't know if she's put there with a partner and this is something they're doing, or it's very conflicting for people walking by situations like this.
Of course.
Is there an agency or a phone number we could call when we see something like this and do want to help?
Unfortunately, a lot of it is done, we wear a lot of hats in the city as the police. I would tell you to call us, and we'll do our best investigation that we can, whether that means we give them to CPS, or if they are homeless, we can try to hook them up with a homeless shelter or some kind of services. Yeah, what I would tell you is no matter how sad the story looks like out in front of Albertsons, is you've worked your entire life for your money, and keep your money. A lot of these people are out here who are panhandling outside of the homeless, are regular people like you and me that are looking to make a quick buck. You'd be surprised, somebody with a baby obviously pulls on the heartstrings of a lot of people, and somebody gives $20, $50, $100, and that person makes out of the day here with $250 tax-free of your money that you've worked very hard for.
Any other questions? No? Thank you, Officer.
Thank
I know
you,
you've got
guys.
other things to do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, well, I just want to let you know that our next meeting is going to be on February 4th at 1 o'clock, and it's waste management. And again, people are calling me about the trash, and I can only give so much information out. So they're going to be coming back, and they're going to be speaking on recycling education on both traditional and organic. So you won't want to miss that one, so you don't have to call me anymore. Not that I don't mind talking to you, but I think this will be educational for everybody. When I walk in the morning, I see I saw this morning, and I have to say, I was amazed at what people put in their trash cans. And the lids are open, and it's overflowing. And do you know that you will get cited? You will start getting cited, and you'll be getting on your bill. So you need to be very, very careful in making sure that your lids are pushed down, or keep them for the next week. But you need to be very, very careful, because they are going to be start citing if they haven't already. It's just waste management. I'll have the flyer will be coming out. Hernan will be sending it out probably in the next couple days. And it was in everybody's newsletter, and it's on the 4th. Okay, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your attendance.